Alex walked halls where machines breathed louder than prayers, where silence pressed its ear to chests to hear if life was still willing to stay. He learned the weight of a moment just before goodbye, how dignity can be cradled even when breath thins to a rumor. He wore no medals, only tired hands creased by gloves and mercy, steady in rooms where fear unraveled. An ICU nurse, answering calls that never stopped ringing, not for praise, not for remembrance, but because the wounded felt like kin. Night after night he stayed, measuring time in heartbeats, counting hours by the rise and fall of strangers' chests. Then the hallway ended. The street replaced the ward. When injustice collapsed in front of him, he did not step back. He knelt the way he always had, lowering himself to pain, choosing care where others chose distance. He lifted what had fallen. He covered what was exposed. He stood at the fragile border where mercy meets fear. And those meant to guard life tore through the heart of a caregiver, ended a breath meant for saving, turned healing into an unfinished sentence. The street went quiet. Too quiet. Listen, that silence is not peace. Not even bullets can end a calling. Not even death can erase a life spent giving. Grief does not bury love, it spreads it. From ICU rooms that still echo his absence, to vigils where candles tremble like lungs. From tears that soak scrubs, to marches heavy with names never meant to be spoken. Nurses rise, not loud, but relentless. A tide formed from loss, shoulder to shoulder with every healer who has ever stayed when it hurt to stay. Look up. In the torn sky of our morning, light gathers carefully, a constellation shaped like service, the quiet courage of hands that refuse to abandon, the breath that lingers when fear begs it to leave. Rise, for the nurse who held wounds at midnight and never made it home. Rise, for the man whose last act was mercy. Stand where truth aches to be spoken. Stand where justice has been delayed. In every city, every ward, every trembling heart, let this grief be counted, not ignored. Because when one healer falls, the world loses something it cannot replace. And in that shared sorrow, we find a resolve carved from love. Stand, not with rage that burns out, but with grief that remembers, with justice held steady, with compassion that does not flinch. For the world remembers those who healed, and in remembering, we carry them forward.